All right, friends, what's going on? Exciting day today in Babylon Talmud. Today we are learning Daf Chaf Vav of Masechta Berachos. Now, the cool thing about today is that we are starting the parak of Tfilas HaShachar, which is super cool parak. It starts talking about davening. We have concluded our discussions of Kriyat Shema, which we have basically been discussing for the first three prakim of Berachos. We are now moving on to davening, which will be the focus of our attention for the fourth and fifth prakim of Berachos, which basically means for the next week and a half or so. And then we are moving on, and after which we'll start talking about brachos and benching and things like that. So this is super cool. We're starting to talk about davening, shacharis, mincha, marib, the times, right? When can we daven until? All sorts of stuff like that. It's going to be super interesting, so let's get started. Tfilas HaShachar at Chatzos. So you can daven shacharis until Chatzos, okay? Now remember, when we're talking about the day, and this is going to be super important now, when we're talking about the day, remember back to, like the first and second and third dafs of the Masechta. We're talking about Shaos Manios. Can anybody, who remembers, can anybody tell me what Shaos Manios are? No one? All right. Shaos Manios are basically when you take the daylight hours and you divide them in 12, okay? So if the day, starts at 5 in the morning and, ends at 7 at night, so then you're basically going to have 14 hours and you divide 14 by 12. I think I did my math right there. And then whatever that comes out to, that's how many minutes are going to be in each shmanis or whatever. Anyways, so then just for simplicity, the classic way of learning this parak is to think of a perfect day. A perfect day would be one that begins at 6 in the morning and ends at 6 at night, in which case you have a perfect 12-hour day, which means that noon would be, chatzos would be noon, right? 12 in the afternoon. It just makes things easy to work with. But anyways, so that's what we're talking about. So you can pray shacharis until chatzos, which is 6 hours into the day, okay? Rabbi Yehuda Omer ad arba shaos. Rabbi Yehuda says you can only pray shacharis for the first 4 hours of the day, okay? And we're going to talk about it in the Gemara. Fine. Tfilas ha-mincha ad erev. You can pray mincha until erev. Now, Rashi doesn't help us out so much here. He says ad erev ad chashecha, until it gets dark. But it would have been much easier if he would tell us, something concrete like shkia, or tesa kochavim. But he just says until it gets dark. It's possible that maybe that implies tesa kochavim, but I'm not exactly sure. It's unclear. Rabbi Yehuda Omer ad plaga mincha. Rabbi Yehuda says you can pray mincha until plaga mincha. We're going to talk about what plaga mincha is a little bit later. Okay. Tfilas erev ein la keva. Mariv, which is arvit, tfilas erev, does not have any set time. You could pray mariv all night. Okay. Mashal musafim kol hayom. And musaf, you can daven all day, right? So usually we bundle together musaf with shacharis. If you think on Shabbos or Rosh Chodesh or something, when we daven shacharis, we also daven musaf, right? But the Mishnah says you can really pray musaf all day. If you didn't daven musaf, shacharis you should really do in the morning. But musaf you can really do all day. Okay. Now the Gemara says. Now it's also interesting that basically the Mishnah is talking about when you can daven these things until, but when do they start? I don't know, the Mishnah doesn't really say anything about that, right? Okay, in any event. We have a contradiction. We have a Tosefta that says, right? I'm sure that this already sounds familiar to many of us. We have a Tosefta that says that you can read Kriyat Shema, that you should read Kriyat Shema, right, with with sunrise, that you should conclude your Kriyat Shema with sunrise, so that you can then continue seamlessly into Shmona Esrei and be praying during the day. Okay, so what's the implication of that? The implication of that is that you should really pray at sunrise, and that's that. 4 hours? What are we talking about? 4 hours? 5 minutes. That's it. You daven at sunrise, and that is that. Dam Rabbi Yochanan. So the Gemara answers yes and no. Kitanya ayil vasikin. No, when we say that you should basically daven shacharis immediately at sunrise, that is for these vasikin, right? Those people who are like, love doing mitzvahs, and they would try to do them as soon as they can at the best possible time. So they would do it at sunrise, right? The Amar Rabbi Yochanan, as Rabbi Yochanan said, vasikin hayu gomrim osa im henetza chama. That the vasikin would complete Kriyat Shema with henetza chama. And then they would go immediately into Shmona Esrei, and that's when they would pray. But that's not to say that that's the only time to pray. Everyone else can pray, according to Chacham, until Chatzos, according to Rabbi Yehuda, until 4 hours. Okay? Everyone else can only pray until Chatzos. They can't pray, I don't know, whenever they want. Maybe we could pray Shacharis all day. Until it gets dark, you could pray Shacharis. Maybe. Ve'amar Rav Mari, Brei Rav Huna, Brei Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Okay. So basically, all these people are saying in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. So essentially, it's Rabbi Yochanan who said this. Okay. Ta'avelo spal arvis, mispal Shacharis shtaim. Okay. So if you made a mistake and you missed Mariv, what do you do? What do you do? I'm sure it happens to some people sometimes that you missed Mariv. So did you lose it? Can you still do it the next day? What do we say? So we say mispal b'shachris shtaim. So that means you should daven Shachris twice. What does it mean you should daven Shachris twice? So it doesn't mean that you say the entire Shachris twice. It means that Shmona Esrei, you say Shmona Esrei at Shachris twice. So you'll just kind of do a regular Shachris, you'll daven Shmona Esrei, then you'll daven another Shmona Esrei. Okay? Shachris mispal b'mincha shtaim. If you miss Shachris, so then at Mincha daven 2 Shmona Esreis. Kule yoma matzli v'azil. And you can really daven essentially all day, basically. Okay? Fine. Sounds like you can never really miss a prayer because you can always just make it up later, right? So the Gemara answers, Ad chatzos yavile schar tvila bizmana. So until chatzos, we give you reward for praying on time. Mikan ve'elach, after chatzos, schar tvila yavile, schar tvila bizmana lo yavile, we reward him for praying on time. We give him reward for praying, but we don't give him reward for praying on time. So if you miss Shachris, sure, at Mincha you could pray twice, that's fine, and it'll count for Shachris, I guess. You'll get that schar, that reward for having prayed Shachris, but you won't get the reward for having prayed Shachris on time. Okay, fine. So when the Mishnah says that you can pray Shachris until Chatzos, it means that you can pray Shachris until Chatzos if you want to be getting schar for Shachris on time. But if you don't get schar for Shachris on time, you can always pray for it later and still get schar for Shachris, just not on time. Now, it's interesting that we are, thinking about praying in terms of like times and being yotze, not being yotze. I'm yotze on time, I'm not yotze on time, but I'm yotze this, because up until now, we've really been focusing on Kriyat Shema, and every so often tefillah would come up, and it was always in the context of like, it's rachameh, right? Don't pray at the top of the tree because tefillah is like, mercy. We said yesterday that make sure that your heart is covered when you daven, because you should be, because it's what do we say? Because it's rachamim, right? No, it doesn't say it's rachamim, but basically, you're standing in front of the king, you're praying. We didn't view it really in the context of times and limitations and chiyuvim and responsibilities. It was always very much a kind of more spiritual kind of aspect, and I think that basically, and I think that we're gonna see today, in different ways, that I think that there's really two aspects that are emerging in the Gemara regarding praying, right? One is that of, laws, you have to pray, and these are the times that we pray, and these are the rewards that you get for doing it. But then there's also the aspect of mercy, right? That we're praying for God, and in that respect, maybe you can tie that into how you can pray all day and things like that. Maybe connected to like, Rabbi Yochanan saying that that you can pray all day. That's really, so there's like kind of these two aspects that are both equally important and equally true when it comes to praying. Okay? So if a person made a mistake and he didn't pray Mincha, can he pray 2 Marvs? Now, of course, we said that if you missed Marv, you could pray 2 Shachrises. If you missed Shachris, you could pray 2 Minchas. The question here is, if you miss Mincha, can you pray 2 Marvs? What's the question? Obviously, of course, right? Why should Marv be any different or Mincha be any different? Well, Mincha is different because, of course, it's going to be a new day, right? The day starts at the night. So therefore, if I miss Mincha and I want to make it up at Mariv, I'm basically praying a prayer from yesterday, today, and the question is, does it work like that? So, imtin salomar, if you're going to want to say, Tav lo spal iris, mispal shachris shtayim, that, well, we said if you miss Mariv, then you can just pray shachris twice, right? Well, I'll say that that's mishum dechad yomu, because they're both on the same day, right? Day starts at night, so if I miss Mariv, I can daven shachris twice, it's the same day. Dichsev vayi erev vayi boker yom echad. First it was evening, then it was morning, and it was one day. Haval hacha, but over here, tefillah b'makom korban hi. Oh, tefillah is in the place of a korban, of a sacrifice, of an animal sacrifice. V'cheven d'over yomo batal korbano. And since the day has passed, zeu, you missed it. You missed it. You know, if you don't bring the Talmud Shel Ben Arbaim, every day in the temple they would bring one sacrifice in the morning and one sacrifice in the afternoon. If you miss the sacrifice in the afternoon, you missed it. You don't bring it the next day. So therefore, if you miss Mincha, you missed it. You can't just daven 2 Marivs, after that. It's a new day. Odilma came to Tzlo Sarachmehi, Kolemis Debai, Matzliva Azil. Or, as kind of we just mentioned a few minutes ago, there's the other aspect of prayer, which is that it's Rachmeh, it's mercy. And therefore, as long as what? So what do we say? Kol emas debai matzliva azil. Whenever he wants, he can continue praying. So what? It's a different day. It's not going to prevent me from praying. So Tashma come in here. Dam Rav Huna bar Yehuda, Amar Yitzchak, Amar Yochanan. Oh, okay. Tav lo ispal mincha, ispal arvis shtaim. Ve'im bazeh mishum te'avar yom bata karbano. Boom. Says Rav Yochanan. The same Rav Yochanan says that if you miss Mariv, you can pray Shacharis twice. If you miss Shacharis, you can pray Mincha twice. He also says if you miss Mincha, you can pray Mariv twice, right? And you don't have to worry about, Avar Yom Bata Korbano, that, once the day passes, you miss out on the Korban. Don't worry about that. Okay? Very good. So, okay. So that would, maybe you can even argue that would imply that, prayer is more of like a mercy kind of thing, more so than like a Korban kind of thing. But as we're going to see, both of them are really relevant, and that's why there are zmanim, of course, that's why we said that if you miss it on time, you still get schar, but just for a different time, but not for time. Okay. But Zel, Rabbi Yochanan says that you could, if you miss mincha, you can sort of tap into that, rachamei aspect of davening and daven Mariv twice. Meisvei. We have a kasha from a brisa. This is a cool pasuk, a very cool pasuk. There's a pasuk in Koheles, right? It says, Me'uvas lo yuchal liskon. Something that is crooked cannot be fixed, and something that is lacking cannot be counted, right? So the Metzudas David learns this as referring to basically a person, right? If a person messes up, that's it. You can't fix it. If he's lacking in a certain area, you can never count it. Now, usually we say that you can always do tshuva, right? Which is interesting. Over here, Shlomo Melech is just saying nope, you mess up, that's it. I think maybe you can kind of say ben adam lachaver, ben adam lamakom kind of thing, right? Meaning, when you mess up between gods, you and gods, you can always do tshuva. But people are less forgiving, you do good things your whole life, and one time you do something silly and upset people, they're never going to forget it, right? They're never going to forget it. Cheson liyuchol leimanos, your lackings, people will always recall that one time that you messed up, right? So it's I think Shlomo Melech is talking about life over there in Koheles. So maybe he's kind of saying that, look, people, I'm old, I've seen everything. Don't think you can just fix everything. No, you mess up once, they're going to remind you of that the rest of your life. Anyways, but the Brisa says, Muvas lo yuchal liskon, something that's crooked you can't fix, v'cheson lo yuchal imanos, and something which is lacking cannot be counted. Muvas lo yuchal liskon, zeh shebitel kriyash mashal arvis v'kriyash mashal shachris. So something that is crooked cannot be fixed. That's a reference to somebody who, he nullified technically, but let's just say he missed Kriyas Shema of Mariv, or Kriyas Shema at night, or Kriyas Shema during the day. Zeu, you missed it. Done. Can't make it up. Or Tefillah Shel Arvis, or Tefillah Shel Shacharis. And here's what's important for us, is that, or if you miss the prayer of Mariv, or the prayer of Shacharis, done. You can't make it up. What's Rabbi Yochanan, giving this fancy, kind of Hasidic thing, you can daven whenever you want. Interesting that, of course, it's the same Rabbi Yochanan who says, Adam kol yom kulo, you can daven all day. It's also the same one who's saying, if you miss Shacharis, don't worry, daven Mincha. No, what about this brisa that says something that's crooked you can't fix? If you miss Mariv, you missed it. That's it. End of story. V'cheson, says the Gemara, v'cheson lo yuchal imanus, something lacking can't be counted. Zeh shemanu chaver l'dvar mitzvah v'lo nimnei mayim. That's reference to somebody whose friends were doing a mitzvah and he didn't join them. Can never be fixed. So Rabbi Yitzchak, Rabbi Yochanan, hacham ba'eskinat shebitel b'meiziv. Amar Vashi dekanami dekatani bitel v'lo katani tash mamina. Oh, so Yitzchak says in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, that brisa where it says that if you're mevatel mariv or shachris, you can't make it up. That's if you did it on purpose. If you on purpose you said, I'm not davening mariv right now. I don't know, I'm busy. I'm not davening mariv right now. Well, then don't think that you could daven shachris twice, right? And Rav Ashi says you can also apply. It says bitel, right? That's somebody who's mevatel mariv or shachris. But if you just missed it, I don't know. I think even if you overslept, I think you could still daven. You know, like if you missed it for whatever reason, you know, you were whatever happened, something that was beyond your control, you missed it. So you can always pray. If you miss mariv, you could pray shachris twice. The question is, if we're saying that it's mevatel, in the context of davening, how does that apply to Kriyat Shema, which he said also that muvas lo yuchal liskon is that if you're mevatel Kriyat Shema, you can't. What if you missed it by accident? Can you make it up later? Maybe not, because it could be that by saying that you could daven later, it's tapping into the whole tefillah being rachameh thing. So like you can always do the rachamim later, whereas Kriyat Shema is a din. So even if you can always daven later, as we said, right? It's like, right, lo hifsid kikori b'Torah, right? Right? We said that. You can always read it later, but you're not going to get the schar. And I guess also here you're not going to get the, schar for davening bisman. You get the schar for davening. So over there also, I guess you'll get the schar for reading the Torah, but just not for Kriyat Shema. Okay. Tanu Rabbanim. Oh, so the rabbis taught. Tavlo spal mincha be'erev Shabbos. Mispal Belel Shabbos Shtayim, and who is this? The Agos Agra adds Shel Shabbos. Okay, so basically, if on Mincha on Erev Shabbos, you missed Mincha on Erev Shabbos, so what do? So we said, of course, if you miss Mincha, so you daven Mariv twice. So that's equally true on Shabbos. You're going to daven Mariv twice on Shabbos, 2 Shmon Esreis, and both of those Shmon Esreis are going to be Shabbos Shmon Esreis, even though one of them is going to be for Mincha. Okay. Now, for Mincha, which was before Shabbos, but both of your Shmon Esreis you're going to daven are going to be Shabbos Shmon Esreis. Now, just something to point out, when you do this, when you pray, so if you miss Mincha, you daven Mariv twice, the first Mariv that you're going to daven is for Mariv, right? The current tefillah is what comes first, right? Don't think that, well, if I miss Mincha, the first one's going to be for Mincha. No. The current tefillah is the one that comes first, and then the second one, the Shmon Esrei that you went, that's the one that's making up. There are going to be nafkaminas, as we're going to see soon, okay? Fine. Says the Gemara, Tavlo spal mincha b'Shabbos, mispal b'Motzei Shabbos, shtayim shalchol. Okay, and if you miss mincha on Shabbos, so then on Motzei Shabbos you daven 2 Shmona Esreis, 2 weekday Shmona Esreis. Okay, now mavdil barishona. So he says havdalah, right? Of course, on Motzei Shabbos in Shmona Esrei we say atachon antanu in the bracha of atachon in ladam das, and that is what's called havdalah. And once already you say Abdallah, you could, you could do malacha. You could turn on your phone or whatever you might want to do. So you do this Havdalah in the first Shmon Esrei, because that's the one for Mariv, for Motzei Shabbos. Ve'eno mavdil b'shniya. But you don't say Havdalah in the second Shmon Esrei, because that's the one that's making up for Shabbos Mincha. Ve'im hivdil b'shniya, v'lo hivdil b'rishona. What if he davened these 2 Shmon Esreis, but he said Havdalah in the second Shmon Esrei? He didn't say Havdalah in the first Shmon Esrei. So Shniya also lo, Rishona lo also lo. So the second Shmon Esrei works, and that's going to be his Mariv Shmon Esrei. But the first one isn't going to work because that was out of order, right? Right? From the fact that he didn't say Havdalah in the first one and he said Havdalah in the second one, he's clearly indicating that his first one was for Shabbos Mincha and his second one's for Motzei Shabbos. Therefore, that doesn't work. It's out of order. So the first one, forget it, throw it away. The second one is going to count for Mariv, and he's now got to say a third one that's going to be the makeup for Mincha, okay? The Gemara asks, is that to say that if you because he missed Havdalah in the first Shmon Esrei, it's as if he didn't pray the Shmon Esrei at all? I.e., if you don't, like what happens, it's Motzei Shabbos, Stam Yadav Mariv, Motzei Shabbos, and you forget to say Atachon Antanu. It's as if you didn't say Shmon Esrei at all, and you have to say it again? V'ramin, we make him go back. We have a contradiction. If you forget to say Mashiv Moed Geshem in the second bracha of Shmon Esrei, which is called Tchias HaMesim, V'she'ela b'Birkas Hashanim, if you forgot to say V'sein Talamot Levracha in Baruch Aleinu, Machzirin also. So in that case, we make him go back. Okay, fine. Halacha l'maisa, right? If you mess up on V'sein Talamot Levracha or Mashiv Moed Geshem, you got to start over. Havdalah b'chon and adas ein machzirin also, mipnei sheyachol omer lakos. But if you miss saying Atachonantanu in the bracha of Chon and Adas, no problem. You don't have to repeat Shemona Esrei, because you're going to say Havdalah later on the coast, when on the cup when you get home, right, and a glass of wine. So we see that you can forget Atachonantanu, and it's really no problem. So how come over here we're saying that since he forgot to say Atachonantanu in the first Shemona Esrei, forget it, he, what is that? Anyways, I don't know. Forget it, he's got to repeat that Shemona Esrei. The Gemara says Kasha, we don't have an answer, which is interesting that the Gemara says Kasha, because we really do have an answer, right? Which is that, well, because this case is different. In this case, by not saying Atachonantanu in the first one and saying Atachonantanu in the second one, he's making it clear that his intention was that the first one was for the Shabbos afternoon one, and that's just wrong. The first one needs to be for the current field, which is Mariv. So that's a interesting kind of thing that we actually do have an answer for this thing. Next, just an important note about, so we said that if you don't say Atachonantanu in Shemona Esrei of Mariv and Motzei Shabbos, you don't have to repeat it. That's true. And we say it's because you're going to say Havdalah on a coast. Now the thing is, when you say Havdalah, when you get home with wine, you're probably going to light a match to light the fire, right? Now the thing is, if you forget to say Atachonantanu and then you do Melacha, you actually then do have to repeat Shemona Esrei. So before you're going to light the fire for the Havdalah, just make sure that if you forget Atachonantanu, you say Amavdil ben Kodesh L'chol to make some kind of a separation. Then you can do, Havdalah. But or if somebody else is going to make Havdalah for you, then it's fine. But make sure not to, if you forget to say Atachonantanu and Shemona Esrei at Mariv Motzei Shabbos, make sure not to do any Melacha before you at least say Amavdil ben Kodesh L'chol. Those words. Itmar. Oh, so this is interesting. So we've been talking about today, is tefillah rachame? Is it kineged tmidim, as if, like korbanos, that there are times, there are obligations. So what is it? So here we go. So itmar. So by the way, whenever the Gemara says itmar, it always means it's introducing a statement of amoraim, okay? As opposed to like Tanya, it's always going to be tanaim, a brisa. Itmar is always going to be amoraim. So it was stated. Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina Amar, said Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina, Tfilos avos tiknum. Okay, the prayers were established by our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi Amar, Tfilos keneged tmidin tiknum. Whereas Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi says that the prayers they were established according to the animal sacrifices that we would bring in the temple. Those are the times that are associated with them, the laws that are associated with them. Okay. And, that would, I guess, be more the perspective of there are rules and obligations and things like that. Okay. Tani Kavasa de Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina, Tani Kavasa de Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. So we have a brisa supporting Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina, we have a brisa supporting Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, we have a brisa supporting both of these perspectives. Tani Kavasa de Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina. Oh, so here's the brisa that's supporting Rabbi Yossi ben Chanina's assertion that that the prayers are that were established by the forefathers. So Avram tikein tefillah shachris. So the brisa says that Avram Avinu was mesaken, established the prayer of shachris. Shenemar vayashkem Avram baboker lemakom she'amad sham. Oh, that Avram Avinu woke up early in the morning and he went to that place where he stood there. Now on Daf Vav Amud Beis, that's how we learned that anybody who, has a makom kavua for his prayers, so the God of Avram is going to help him, right? So we learn from here, lemakom asher amad sham ben amida ela tefillah. That when he went to the place where he stood there, it means that he went to the place where he would normally davening, because Amida, standing, connotes prayer. How come? Shneamar, as the pasuk says in Tehillim, Vayamod Pinchas Vayifalo. Pinchas got up and it says Vayifalel. So the Metzudas David understands Vayifalel as din. He went and he made a din with Zimri and Cosby, who were, Cosby, right? That was like by the Midyan right? Pinchas went and he killed Cosby and Zimri. Anyways, but Vayifalel over here, obviously we're understanding it to mean a lashon of tefillah. Okay, fine. So we see that he stood up and he prayed. So standing is prayer. So Avraham Avinu, when it says he went to the place where he stood there, it means he went from the place where he would pray, and it says he woke up early in the morning, so he established Shacharis. Yitzchak tiken tefillas mincha. Yitzchak established the prayer of the afternoon prayer of mincha. Shneimar vayetzi Yitzchak lasuach basade lifnos arev. Yitzchak went out in the evening time to speak in the field. Vein sicha el tefillah. This lashon of sicha, of speaking, is prayer. Shneimar tefillah la'ani kiyatov lefnei Hashem yishboch sicho. that a prayer to a poor person when he, so the Judas David understands that as when he like, bows over, because he's distraught, and before God he will spill out his sicha, his speech. And we say tefillah and sicha in the same pasuk. So we see that Yitzchak established the afternoon prayer. Yaakov tiken tefillas arvis. Yaakov Avinu established the evening prayer. Shenemar, as it says, vayifga b'makom vayolan sham. That Yaakov Avinu, he was pogea, he let's say arrived at the place, and he rested there. Ve'en pigia el tefillah, and pigia is a lashon of tefillah. Shenemar, as it says, God says to Yirmiyah, Vata al tispal ba'da amazev al tisa ba'adam rina usfila val tifga bi. Right? Hashem says to Yirmiyah, he says, you do not pray in favor of this nation, and do not raise up for them rejoicing and prayer val tifga bi, and do not make requests from me. So we see that tifga, right? Vayifga b'makom vayolan sham is a lashon of prayer, and it says vayolan sham, right? Kiva shemesh, right? Because the sun had already set. Okay, very good. So we see that he. Right, it says that he slept there, so it was nighttime. So we see that Yaakov Avinu established Mariv. Okay, very good, very good. So we have a brisa saying that the prayers were established by the forefathers. Okay, now Tana Kavasa Rabbi Shua ben Levi. Now we have a brisa supporting Rabbi Shua ben Levi that the prayers were actually enacted to be in line, with the animal sacrifices in the temple. Right, we used to bring a sacrifice in the morning, a sacrifice in the afternoon, right? And then there were certain things related to sacrifices at night, and that's why the Chacham said to pray, nothing to do with the fathers per se. Okay? How come the Chacham said, as we just read, that you can pray Shacharis until noon, till Chatzos? Because in the Beis HaMikdash, they would bring the morning sacrifice until Chatzos. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, they would really bring it super early, because then they had to do, they couldn't do any other sacrifices before they brought the Tamid. That was the first one, and the Tamid Shal Ben Arbaim was the last one. So they'd always do it super early so that they can get moving, because they got a lot of work to do. But theoretically, they could bring it until noon. Okay. Rabbi Yehuda Omer ad arba shos, shari Tamid Shal Shachar kari v'olech ad arba shos. Rabbi Yehuda says you could pray until 4 hours into the day, because the Tamid Shal Shachar would be brought until 4 hours into the day. Okay, fine. U'pnei amru tfilas hamincha ad ha'erev. How come we say that you could pray mincha until the evening? Shari Tamid Shal Ben Arbaim kari v'olech ad ha'erev. Because they would bring the afternoon offering until the evening. Okay, fine. Rabbi Yehuda Omer ad plaga mincha. Oh, okay, fine. Shari Tamid Shal Ben Arbaim kari v'olech ad plaga mincha. Fine. Rabbi Yehuda says that you can read Kriyat Shema. No, we're done with Kriyat Shema. They could pray mincha until plaga mincha, because the Tamid Shal Ben Arbaim was only brought until plaga mincha. Let's take a second right now and talk about a few different times when it comes to mincha. Okay. So generally speaking, in the Beis HaMikdash, they would slaughter the mincha offering at 8.5 hours into the day. So going back to our perfect day chart, remember, obviously every day is different, and I don't know if there's ever really a perfect day, but in our perfect day, from 6 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night, they would slaughter the afternoon offering at 8.5 hours into the day, which on our clock would be 2:30 p.m. And they would offer it at 9.5 hours into the day, which would be 3:30 p.m. That's what they would do every day on a general day. However, in the event that they needed to do the Tamid Shel Ben Arbaim, the afternoon offering, earlier, and I think, if I remember correctly, I think maybe this is like when Erev Pesach falls out on like Shabbos or something like that. Whatever it is, there were times when they had to do the Tamid Shel Ben Arbaim earlier. The earliest you could possibly do it was at 6.5 hours into the day. That's the earliest time that you could possibly do the Tamid Shel Ben Arbaim, right? And that, of course, aligns with Mincha Gedola. The earliest time that we could pray Mincha is 6.5 hours into the day. Fine. Now, so generally they would offer the afternoon sacrifice at 9.5 hours into the day. They could already do it from 6.5 hours into the day, and the Chacham say that they would then offer it. They can continue offering it from 9.5 hours into the day until the evening, i.e., until that 12th hour. Fine. Rabbi Yehuda disagrees. He says that no, you can offer it from 9.5 hours into the day until Plaga Mincha. What is Plaga Mincha? Plaga Mincha is halfway between, right? Plag is like Palga is like half, I think, right? So basically halfway between 9.5 hours into the day and the end of the day, right? So 12 minus 9.5 is 2.5. Half of that is 1.25. So 1.25 hours after 9.5 hours is when they would offer the Tamid Shel Ben Arbaim until. So that would be 10 hours and 45 minutes into the day. Okay, that's what Plag HaMincha is. Okay, very good. So Zeu. So that's why Rabbi Yehuda says that you could pray Mincha until Plag HaMincha, because he says that you would only offer the afternoon offering until Plag HaMincha. Fine. Weiter. And how come they said that Mariv you could pray all night long? Because any limbs from any korban olas that would go on the mizbeach, or any fats from all offerings, you put fats on the mizbeach for God. So if they didn't get a chance to do it before Shkia, so they could do it all night long. Now the throwing of the blood on the mizbeach has to be done before Shkia. But if they threw all the blood on the mizbeach and now they just didn't get around yet to burning the fats in the limbs, they could do that the entire night. Zeu, and that's why you can, and Mariv is keneged these burnings of the fats in the limbs that you can do all night long. Therefore, you could pray Mariv all night long. Okay. And of course, how come they said that you can pray Musaf all day, Kol Hayom, right? All day. Shrei Korban Shel Musafin Karev Kol Hayom, because they would offer the Musaf offerings, the additional offerings that they would, like on Shabbos, for example, in addition to the morning offering and the afternoon offering, they would have additional offerings for Shabbos, right? So those can be offered all day. So Rabbi Yehuda Omer ad sheva shos shari korban musaf karev v'olech ad sheva shos. So Rabbi Yehuda disagreed and said that you could only offer the korban musaf until the 7 hours into the day. Okay. Ve'ezui mincha gedola. What is mincha gedola? I.e., when is the earliest time you could have mincha? Mishe shos v'mechza ulamala, from 6.5 hours into the day and onwards. Ve'ezui mincha ketana mitesha shos v'mechza ulamala. That would be from 9.5 hours into the day and onwards. Okay, very good. Okay, so Mincha Ketana is from 9.5 hours into the day, so on our perfect day, that's 3:30 p.m. And Mincha Gedola is from 6.5 hours into the day, on a perfect calendar, that's 12:30. Okay, very good. Let's go weiter. Now, I'll tell you honestly, I don't understand this next question. Maybe somebody else does. I understand the answer, but I don't understand the question. So Yibailu, they asked the question. Rabbi Yehuda plag mincha kama kamar or plag mincha achrona kamar. So again, right, so this plaga mincha thing is that if you take the remainder of time left in the day, from 9.5 hours into the day until the 12th hour of the day, you have 2.5 hours, and you cut that in half, so you have two portions of 1.25 hours, right? So from 9:30 on our perfect day until, from 3:30 really. So from 9.5 hours until 10.25 hours, right? Or from 3:30 until 4:45 on a perfect day, and then from 4:45 until 6 on our perfect day. Okay, so the question is Rabbi Yehuda saying that you can, or at least that's how I understand it, maybe somebody correct me, but can you offer the korban, can you pray mincha until the first of those halves, i.e. until 9.5 hours into the day, i.e. 3:30, or until the second of those halves, which is 10 hours and 45 minutes into the day, i.e. 4:45 on our perfect day. What is that? So Tashma coming here. Titani, we're learning a brayso Rabbi Yehuda Omer Plaga Mincha Achrona Amru. They said the second half of Plaga Mincha. So Vihi Yud Aleph Shos Chaser Revia, and that is 11 hours minus a quarter. It is 11 hours minus a quarter, i.e. 10 hours and 45 minutes. The reason why I don't understand this is because if you say that it's talking about the first one, so that means you can only pray mincha until 3:30, but they only offered the korban tamid shel ben arabayim at 3:30. How could it be that they offer it at 3:30 yet you can only do it until 3:30? That's what I don't understand. So, but we say that it's until 4:45, until 10 hours and 45 minutes into the day. Okay. Now the Gemara says, "Tavi tiyufte de Rabbi Yossi Rab Chanina." So let's say that this is a kasha on Rabbi Yossi Rab Chanina, which I bet, by the way, I also don't understand this, right? We're saying that this brisa, which gives all these elaborate times, right, which seems to match up exactly to what we do, right? Shachris until chatzos, so 4 hours, mincha until the evening, or plaga mincha, whatever it is, they seem to be lining up exactly with the korbanos, right? So that should be a kasha for Rabbi Yosef Bar Chinu, who says it's connected to avos. The reason why I don't understand why it's a kasha on him is because he brought a brisa to support him. So why would you bring one brisa as a kasha and another brisa? They're equally valid. That's what I don't understand. But anyways, again, I do understand the answer. So Amalach Rabbi Yosef Bar Chinu will answer you. La'olam emalach tfilos avos tiknum. Really, I will say to you that the prayers were established by the fathers. Okay? But the details of when do you have until to pray them and things like that, and to get all the details, the halachos, right? Meaning to say that we should pray shachris because Avraham Avinu davened shachris is very beautiful and it's awesome and it's true, right? But there are so many other details of praying. When can I pray until? What if I miss it? All sorts of stuff like that. So then also already we start, relying on the korbanos, and we start learning at halachos based on how things would work out with the korbanos. The ilo temahachi tfilas musaf the Rabbi Yosef Bar Chanina man tikna tfilas avos tikna vasmachinu rabban korbanos. Right, and you have to say that Rabbi Yosef Bar Chanina would agree with this because he doesn't have his head in the sand. He recognizes that there's musaf. He davens musaf, I'm sure, right? Which of the three avos established musaf? None of them. So rather, it must be that we daven shachris because of Avraham Avinu daven shachris, mincha, ma'ariv because of Yitzchak and Yaakov, but we rely on other details and other parts of davening on the korbanos. And when it comes to musaf, we rely entirely on the korbanos. But they're both equally valid, So, so shkoyach, everybody. That was the first daf of the fourth parak of Berachos. Berachos. I hope you guys enjoyed. What did we learn today? We learned about the different times of when you could daven prayer until. We also learned about the different, technicalities of tefillah, such as like mincha gedola, mincha katana, plaga mincha. What are these things? These are really great general knowledge kind of stuff to know. So that's really awesome. And we also had a great time doing it. So hope you all enjoyed. Peace out, brethren and sisterin. And I'll see y'all later.